You are sitting at a plastic table outside a convenience store in Osaka, Japan. The thermometer on the wall reads 96 degrees. It has been above 90 for 11 straight days. There is no shade. There is no breeze. I had been sitting there for maybe 10 minutes, and I was already done, sweating through my shirt, headache starting behind my eyes, seriously reconsidering every decision that brought me to Japan that August. And then this woman sat down at the table next to me, pulled a large plastic bottle out of her bag, and started drinking. Calmly. No hurry. She looked like she was sitting in a library. I watched her for a while, trying to figure out what I was missing. The bottle was not water. It was not a sports drink. It was something pale and amber that I had never seen before in my whole life. I asked her what it was. She said 2 words: Mugicha, tea. I had been in that city for 4 days, and I felt like I was dissolving, and she looked completely fine. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly what was in that bottle, exactly why it works, and exactly how to make it tonight for under $5. Here is the number that started this for me. The average American household paid $776 in electricity last year. The U.S. Energy Information Administration called it the highest bill in 12 years. Air conditioning alone was 31% of that total. And right now, across the country, the CDC is tracking heat-related illness reports at levels not seen since 2012. Emergency rooms in Phoenix, Dallas, and Miami are logging heat exhaustion cases on weekdays. Not just outdoor workers, regular people who were inside most of the day. People who were running the AC. People who were paying that bill, and still ending up in the hospital. So here is the question nobody is asking. The average American is spending $776 to fight this heat from the outside, and still feeling terrible on the inside. What if the problem was never the temperature of the room? What if it was what you were putting in your body while the AC was running? The average American adult takes in approximately 2.7 liters of fluid per day. The CDC confirmed it, and 75% of Americans are still chronically dehydrated. Not occasionally. Every single day. Because most of what people reach for when they are hot is actively making that worse. Iced coffee is a diuretic. It pulls water out of your body faster than you are putting it in. Soda spikes your blood sugar and crashes it. Sports drinks contain so much sugar that your kidneys have to work overtime just to process them. You are drinking to feel better and ending up worse every single time. That gap, $776 on the electric bill, a body still running dry, represents something nobody is making money off of fixing. And that is exactly why you have never heard of what I am about to tell you. The drink in that bottle in Osaka is called Mugicha, roasted barley tea. And before I tell you what it does to your body, I want to tell you how old it is. The roasting technique that produces Mugicha appears in records from the Heian period, the year 794, over 1,200 years ago. Japanese monks were drinking roasted barley tea before the first European university existed. That knowledge never left Japan. It survived the Meiji Restoration, the westernization of the 20th century, the convenience store revolution. Today, you can buy Mugicha in a vending machine in Tokyo, right next to energy drinks and canned coffee. A country with access to every modern beverage on Earth kept choosing a drink invented 1,200 years ago. That is not nostalgia. That is a verdict. Now here is what Mugicha actually does to your body. This is where most coverage of this drink gets vague. So I want to be precise. Barley contains no caffeine, 0. That matters enormously right now because caffeine is a diuretic. It triggers your kidneys to excrete more water. Every iced coffee you drink in this heat is pulling fluid out at the exact moment your body needs to hold on to it. What barley does have is potassium, a mineral that plays a direct role in how your body manages heat. Potassium regulates the movement of fluids in and out of your cells, acting as a natural electrolyte. When it is low, your muscles fatigue faster, and your body has a harder time expelling excess heat through sweat. Mugicha refills your potassium without any sugar load. But the mechanism that surprised me most is not the potassium. It is the effect on blood flow. Barley contains alkylpyrazines, compounds produced during the roasting process. Research published by the Japan Society for Bioscience, Biotechnology, and Agrochemistry found that these compounds promote vasodilation. They help your small blood vessels near the surface of your skin relax and widen. When those vessels widen, your body releases heat more efficiently by improving blood fluidity and reducing blood viscosity. It is the same principle as a radiator opening a valve. Your core temperature drops, not dramatically, not instantly, but steadily over hours. That is the difference between cooling a room by opening a window versus shocking it with cold air. One works with your physiology, the other just interrupts it temporarily. And then there is the sleep piece. Because this is the part that matters most when the heat does not break at night. Barley contains both melatonin and tryptophan. Melatonin is the hormone your brain produces to signal that it is time to sleep. Tryptophan is the amino acid your body uses to produce serotonin, which converts to melatonin. When you cannot sleep because the temperature outside at midnight is still 84 degrees, that is not just discomfort. That is your body unable to complete the recovery cycle it needs to handle the next day. Mugicha has been running as a sleep preparation system in Japanese households for generations. The Japanese have known for centuries that it helps you sleep on hot nights. Now we know exactly why. Here is the honesty you will not hear from anyone trying to sell you something. Mugicha is not a miracle. It is not going to fix severe heat exhaustion on its own. If you are already symptomatic, dizzy, stopped sweating, confused, that is an emergency room situation, not a tea situation. What Mugicha does is create the conditions for your body to manage heat the way it was designed to, without caffeine interference, without a sugar crash, without the kidney burden. It is quiet and consistent. And quiet and consistent is exactly what your body needs when it is already working hard just to keep you upright. That is the version worth building into your day right now. Here is exactly how to make it. Tonight, you need Mugicha tea bags. That is the only ingredient. Any Asian grocery store carries them. Japanese, Korean, Chinese, it does not matter. Look for brands like ITOEN and Hakubaku if you want the most traditional versions. If you do not have one nearby, a pack of 50 bags on Amazon costs under $5 and arrives in 2 days. 50 bags. An entire heat wave for $5. In Korea, they call this same tea boricha, the Korean version. Take one bag, drop it into a pitcher with 1 liter of cold water, straight from the tap. Put it in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours. Do not boil water, cold brew method only. What comes out is smooth, slightly nutty, with a faint roasted quality that does not taste like medicine and does not taste like health food. It tastes like something your body wanted without knowing it. Put that pitcher where the soda or the iced coffee used to sit. Drink it throughout the day, with meals, and again before bed. That is the entire practice. I know a man in Georgia who started doing this 2 years ago during a stretch of 15 days above 95 degrees. Before, 2 liters of sweet tea and energy drinks per day. Constant headaches by early afternoon. Could not sleep until after 1 in the morning, even with the AC running. After 1 week of Mugicha, the afternoon headaches stopped. He was asleep by 11. He told me, "I thought it was the heat doing that to me." Turns out it was what I was drinking in the heat. Here is the part I have been saving. It is buried in a 2007 report from Japan's Ministry of the Environment, tied to Japan's Cool Biz energy-saving campaign. When Japan launched that program to raise office thermostats and reduce energy consumption, they tracked what employees were drinking and how it affected fatigue and comfort. The findings were not published prominently, but workplaces where cold barley tea was provided reported significantly lower rates of heat-related fatigue than those offering water, sports drinks, or vending machine options. Consistent across regions, across age groups, across industries. The Japanese government was not discovering something new. They were confirming something 1,200 years of daily practice had already proven. And then they folded it into national policy and moved on, the way you do when you already knew the answer and just needed the paperwork to catch up. That woman outside the convenience store in Osaka was not doing anything unusual. She was not health conscious in any performative way. She was doing what her mother did every time it got this hot. She kept the bottle in her bag. And she felt fine while I was dissolving. Right now, in this heat, you have the same option she has. The science to understand why it works, the history to trust it, and a recipe that costs under $5 and takes 3 hours of refrigerator time, not $776. 5. Drop your city in the comments. Tell me how hot it has been where you are and what you have been drinking. I read every single one, and your answers decide what we cover next.